Hi, welcome to Business 581, Strategic Leadership. I'm Dave Dunnett, and I'm going to be your professor for this course. I think this is one of the most important courses you'll ever take. Leadership determines whether we make or break our organizations. If an organization has good leadership, it'll have a tendency to do well. If an organization has poor leadership, it will have a tendency to do poorly. And that's what we're going to be looking at in this course. Let's go over a bit what the purpose of this course is and what you can expect. The general overall purpose of this course is to give you tools to understand leadership in organizational contexts. We'll be looking at how to understand leadership, what things to focus on, what are some of the best practices that you can put into practice in your own situation, whatever leadership role that you might play. This is a 6-week, 2-unit course, so it's going to go pretty quickly. Since it's 2 units, it's shorter than the regular 9-week semester, and it'll be 6 weeks, so you'll have plenty of things to do for all 6 weeks. We're going to be using 3 textbooks that you'll get to know very well. The first textbook is called Leadership, Theory and Practice by Northouse, and this is going to be our main textbook. This is the theory textbook that we're going to use to discuss various theories concerning leadership. On the more practical side, the nitty-gritty of things, we have the Leadership Challenge by Coos and Posner. Well, this is a classic work describing some of the best practices in leadership. Most people love it. If people were to ask me for one book on leadership and what they can do to be a better leader, I would recommend this book. It's not as theory-driven as Northouse, but it's very practical, and it describes essentially the best practices of leadership. A third book that we're going to be using is based on the previous book, The Leadership Challenge. It's called Christian Reflections on the Leadership Challenge. And it's a kind of a Christian response to some of the key ideas in Coos and Posner. Coos and Posner were involved in writing this, and so they try to make explicitly Christian organizations for those of you who want to make Jesus Christ the center of your life and to lead in the most Christian way possible. Let me tell you a little bit about my background. I began my professional career as an electrical engineer in the aerospace industry here in Southern California. I knew pretty much that it wasn't for me, and as soon as I was able to, I became a church planting missionary in France. I had grown up in a non-Christian family. I had a radical conversion towards Christianity in high school, and I knew that I wanted to commit my life to sharing the gospel with other people. So after seminary, where I met my wife and we got married, we went to France, and for 17 years I did church planting, going into towns, moving into the towns, living there, building up relationships, and creating churches that in areas that had no evangelical witness. And while we were there for 17 years, we were able to start 2 churches, both of which are continuing and have their own leadership now, as well as help a couple churches move away from missionary dependence to being able to support themselves. So a lot of my leadership experience comes from starting organizations and training leaders. And all during this time, I was studying leadership theory. A lot of it was during the 1990s when leadership was a hot new topic and people were just trying to figure it all out. Now the topic of leadership theories is a little bit more stable, but that's what my main experiences in leadership have been. Has been this starting of churches, of nonprofit organizations with a mission to serve God. Now this class is going to focus on all organizations and the leadership that can be exerted in nonprofit, for-profit, volunteer, professional organizations. And you'll see that a lot of the principles are the same for all of these different contexts. Now, when you start working on this course, you're going to be noticing that there's going to be 6 parts to the each week's work. First of all, there's going to be the reading in Northhouse. There's going to be the theory-based reading. And then there's going to be the reading in the Leadership Challenge and Christian Reflections. And it's a good amount of reading for a 6-week course. We've got the 3 books. On the one is heavier than the other 2. But neither of them, none of the 3 are extremely difficult books to read. So there'll be the reading. A third thing that you'll have is you will have a forum, a class discussion on Northhouse, where I'll ask you to discuss some of the theories discussed in Northhouse, or some of the aspects of the theories. And you'll notice that I prepare a video each week on the different theories in Northhouse, and you can watch those if you would like. I know some of you don't really like watching videos, and even watching this one might be a bit painful. Others of you thrive on videos, so use the videos that I've prepared in a way that will benefit you the most. You'll also have a forum based on the Leadership Challenge, and this is the part of the class where I'm giving you a lot of freedom to take the material in here, find something interesting, and relate it to your own experiences in leadership and your own values. Now, I'm assuming many of you are Christians and really want to have Jesus Christ be at the center of your life. Others of you might be less sure of what you think of Christianity, but that's okay. I want you to use these forums on the Leadership Challenge to integrate your values with different leadership concepts. A 5th part of each weekly course will be a 2-page assessment based on assessments that are found in the back of Northhouse. Each chapter, except the first chapter, has kind of like a self-test or a survey that you can give to other people so that you can learn about your own leadership styles, abilities, tendencies, values, all the different things that we'll be looking at concerning leadership. And so each week you'll have a 2-page self-assessment to complete and then to write up. And then there will be 3 course projects that you need to work on throughout the course, and they'll be due during the weeks 4, 5, and 6. Now let's look at these 3 course projects. The first one is a leadership analysis paper, and that's a 5 to 7 page paper due at the end of week 4. And what you need to do is you need to interview a leader, hopefully a leader that you respect, a leader that you might want to have as a role model. Interview this leader and address the topics that are listed in the syllabus in the project description, and spend 45 minutes or an hour with this leader finding out what he or she thinks about these topics and what his or her experiences have been. Now, if you don't have access to a leader that you think would be appropriate for this, you can do some historical research. You can choose any other leader that you know in an organizational context, someone who's led an organization, either a present leader or a past leader, and do research and address the same issues that are covered in the syllabus. But it needs to be an organizational leader. So that doesn't mean that don't choose a political leader. Don't choose a religious leader who didn't have an organization that he was in charge of. So, like, don't choose Jesus, because he didn't really have an organization in the sense that we know it. But choose somebody who led an organization or has played a leadership role in an organization. The second project is a team wiki project, and you'll be receiving information on who's on your team. And what you're going to do is you're going to read a case study in Northhouse, and you're going to write up a coaching and training proposal for the owner of a restaurant who's concerned about developing leadership in this restaurant. And this is due at the end of week 5, and it's going to be a wiki format, so you'll use the wiki tool on Sakai, and you can work together to come up with something, and it should be a quite interesting project. And the sixth project is a leadership research on some topic that you're interested in. We'll cover a lot of topics in research, and you'll be able to go into more depth in one of those. And also a personal development plan for your own personal growth, focusing on the research topic that you chose, but also incorporating other principles throughout the class. And this will be a 5 to 10 page paper due at the end of week 6. So you'll have the weekly work, plus you'll have these 3 projects due at the end of weeks 4, 5, and 6. So start thinking right away about the projects, especially for weeks 4 and 5, because they'll take more than 1 week to do, since you have to coordinate teamwork on the wiki, and you'll have to do some outside research for finding out what a proposal would look like. And then for your leadership analysis paper, you've got to line up an interview with a leader that you respect, or start doing research if you choose more of a historical leader. Well, I'm looking forward to working with you, and you can contact me by email or by phone anytime that you want to, and I hope that you have a great semester.